2022.
2022, baby.
Boom. Still not rid of us yet.
Nope. Nope. I'm still here. So.
Yes. Season 8, kicking things off. That's right. So we've got a fun, brand new episode to kick in the brand new year. I ended that sentence early. I don't know why. Kicking in the brand new year.
I'm sorry. I just got to interrupt you. Do you see this shirt?
Boom.
Do you see that logo? MPods, baby.
Yes.
Michigan Podcast Network. That's where you're watching this. That's where you can watch this. The TFG podcast. The Good Life of Patrick Harney podcast.
Michigan's best podcast all on one channel. So
Yes,
make
it
sure
is.
you subscribe to youtube.com MPods so you can stay up to date on all the best podcasts Michigan has to offer. So in this episode of Attack on Show, we're going to kick things off. Obviously, it's a brand new year. We've got some bold predictions
Yes, we do.
for the upcoming year. So we're going to give those to you. And then that way, at the end of the year, we can take a look to see if we got any of them right.
Yeah.
And if not, oh well.
Yeah.
But we'll see. And then we're going to go on to Binge Worthy with Netflix's Alice in Borderlands. I think Squid Game fans are going to be excited about this one. So we're going to fill the void for you if you're missing that show.
We'll see.
And then on Attack the Web. What do we got on Attack the Web? This was your pick.
So Attack the Web. We have... I don't want to say too much about it because it's not too... Basically, if you like sabers, you like Star Wars, and you like... Well, you'll just like it. You'll like this. I don't want to say anything else. You'll have to see. Yes.
Right?
You'll just have to see. Yeah. It gives a little backstory.
Yes. A YouTube fan film called To the Death. So stick around for that one. And then we're going to wrap things up with I Miss My MTV is back.
Yes, it is, baby.
We've got Sanity by Nick Murphy. I think you really like this song. It's a catchy little tune. It's a little fun. Great way to bring in the new year. We got you covered. Before we get to all that, Patrick, what do they got to do?
Like, subscribe, comment, share, hit the notification button so you can be alerted when a new episode is coming out, my friends.
Sounds like a lot, but it's really easy to do.
Thank
so just
you.
follow the instructions. You can always rewind to revisit them again and do it right.
Yep.
As always, I'm Rob E.
I'm Patrick Harney.
Stick around. This is
Attack on Show. Anyhow, here we are, baby. We're back.
2022.
2022.
Still
and
alive.
We are looking to get to our first segment of the show. Rob, what is that?
We're going to make some bold predictions
Yes, we are.
of things that are going to happen in 2022.
They are.
Dropping the mic because I'm pretty sure two smart dudes like us, we got it all figured out.
We're going to crack this year's code.
Yeah. So
Like
here we are,
that.
2022 bold predictions.
Number one, my bold prediction of the year is that Miles Morales will be introduced into the MCU this year.
Oh, I hope so.
He will. I guarantee you, he will.
Do you think it'll be in the Spider-Man movies, or you think they'll start his own?
No,
Live action.
I think it'll be in one of the other movies in a post-credit scene.
Okay, kind of like a Venom, but I'm saying its own separate universe.
Oh yes,
Like
it'll
Venom.
it'll be its own separate universe. I
Okay,
think.
not including Into the Spider-Verse Miles Morales. You're talking live action.
Live action. Live action.
I hope so. I really hope so. I've been wanting to see that for a while now. So I love it. I love it. All right. My bold prediction, my first one to kick off 2022. This kind of goes with my year-end news attack. Kathleen Kennedy will finally be fired from Lucasfilm, and the world will unite in a thunderous applause.
We can only hope.
Gotta go. John Favreau, Dave Filoni need to be put in charge. Leaving it at that.
Yes.
I've said it enough. I've ran that course too many times on this show. I will be right one year or another.
Speaking of, did you see that there's going to be a series made of Han and Chewbacca?
Yes, that was just announced.
Yep, it's just announced.
Yeah, we'll see who's in charge.
Yeah.
Before I get excited.
Okay. Tony Stark will come back into the MCU from an alternate timeline.
Like Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr.
Live action.
Live action will pop up.
That's a bold prediction.
Will pop up. You wanted bold. I'm
Yes.
giving you bold, baby.
Man.
It'll only be for one movie.
Like a flashback scene or
Nope.
a multiverse crossover?
It'll be a multiverse crossover, but it will happen.
You know what? I'm not ready to count that out yet. I think that's a good call. I think it's a really good call. There's always enough money to bring them back. So
Yeah, there is.
and with what they're making on Spider-Man,
Judas Priest.
they'll have it to pay them.
Yeah, they will.
All right, my second bold prediction. With old TV shows continuously being remade for network,
Yeah.
I'm making a prediction that we're going to see the return of my favorite TV show, Cheers. There's going to be a reboot.
Oh,
Bring Norm back. Norm!
Oh, please no.
Not a remake. I want a reboot. I want to see where Sam is. I want to see Norm still at the bar.
Diane?
Diane.
Would you bring Kirstie Alley?
Yes. Bring them all back. I want to see a Cheers, not a reboot. I want to see a reunion Cheers.
And then John Ratzinger?
All of them. Frasier. All of them. Why not?
Leah Pearlman?
Yes. Leah Pearlman. Woody Harrelson.
Woody Harrelson.
think that'd be a-
Dude.
It's-
Man. Well, they're doing a Friends reunion.
That's what I mean.
They've
That
done a
was the
reunion for
number one
everybody.
series before Friends. So bring it back. Bring it back.
That's bold. God, I love Cheers. What a
It'd be
great
amazing
show.
if they did.
Sam Malone and his hair.
Loved it. Loved Sam Malone the way he cared about his hair. Oh,
I don't think
so
I don't
good.
think he'd be able to get his leg up on the bar again anymore.
No.
But he could
no.
still be back there polishing a glass. You know?
Yes, Sam.
Sam
Well,
Malone.
Okay, yes. I didn't know.
Yep.
About
Sammy.
Diane.
Okay. My third bold prediction is Hawkeye will get a season 2 because of how good it is.
Really? That's about as bold as it gets. Oh, will it be Hawkeye? Because season 1's not even about him.
I know.
It's almost like Disney is making this show. It's weird.
Almost.
Because, you know, every kid who went to karate and shot a bow and arrow once or twice in their life is just as good as a trained assassin who spent his entire life doing this sort of thing.
Yep.
Why not, Disney? Why not?
Yep.
I like it. That's very bold. Very bold. My final bold prediction for 2022. With so many streaming services in the mix, I am making the prediction right now that Paramount Plus will merge with Peacock and not make the cut to go the long run. So I think you will see Yellowstone, all that merge into the Peacock app.
With Peacock.
Yes, I think the Paramount Plus app will shut down by the end of the year.
Why Peacock?
Because it's tied with Comcast, and I think Comcast is just too big. NBC is just too big. I think with Peacock being tied to everybody who has Comcast, it being a free app will give it its longevity, and it'll last. Which is why I think Paramount Plus will shut down, because it just doesn't seem to be enough original programming or enough.
No.
You've got a Yellowstone prequel, but other than that, you have a Star Trek original, but that's a very targeted
Specific, yeah.
demographic that you're aiming at. So I just think Paramount Plus isn't going to make the cut by the end of the year. So we'll see.
But Quibi's going to make a comeback.
Oh, Quibi. Honestly, I thought that was good. I thought Quibi had a chance with
I thought it was
its
a
micro
stupid
episodes.
idea. It was a stupid idea.
But people's attention span are so short.
Nobody wants to
I'm
watch
like,
shows and movies on their phone.
Seems to be where everyone watches them. I just don't think they had a good enough
Really?
content. Yeah, a lot of people watch their stuff on the phone now.
I don't.
These kids these days.
Too small of a screen, man. You know, like, how can you watch a movie on this thing?
What size phone do you have?
I have the biggest one out of all of them. It's the 7 Plus. I'm still old school, but it's like the biggest screen out of all of them.
I think those are some very good predictions, though.
I
I'm
think they're
excited
pretty
to see at the end of the year how many we get right, if we get any wrong. Love it. You want to kick over to Binge Worthy?
Yes, please.
Binge Worthy.
Listen up now. This is serious.
I was just wondering,
What's funny is that we're actually filming this in 2021, so who knows if we'll even make it to 2022.
We'll see.
No, we
But
will.
if not, you guys have a great show to watch, because we're going to discuss Netflix's Alice in Borderlands.
Yes, we are.
And for fans of Squid Game, Patrick, you
Which
were a
I
big
am.
fan. Yes. And so then after that show ended,
Yep.
I recommended Alice in Borderland to you
You did.
because I said, hey, if you're missing that void or you liked the style of the show, there's, the Japanese version, which is Alice in Borderland, based off the manga,
Yep.
manga, that you should check out. And I recommended it.
Yeah.
Did you crush the first season?
I stopped halfway through.
Really? What did you think? Let's hear.
Was not a fan.
How come?
Well, for one, in my opinion, Squid Game took Alice in Borderlands and improved upon it and made it what Alice in Borderlands could have / should have been. That's my opinion.
I do have to say I agree where for the first few episodes of watching Alice in Borderlands, because I did watch it after Squid Game, I did like the realism and the gore and just the blunt force trauma of Squid Game where people were just getting shot in the head, like as crazy as this sounds, but there was that realism to it, to whereas Alice in Borderlands kind of takes a little more sci-fi approach of where there's laser beams from the sky. It's basically these three best friends are hanging out for a day. They're running from the police and they run into like a bathroom stall to hide. And when they come out, everybody's gone. And they don't know where everyone's at. And next thing you know, they see a building light up. They go to it and then they realize they're trapped in this building and they must compete in this game to get time on their visa, they call it.
ラインを越えたらもう出られない。ゲームに参加するしかない。
And basically this visa is their time to live. So the more time you have to play these games to add time to your visas, or else this laser beam's going to come from the sky, shoot you right through the head, and you're done. And you're playing these kind of Squid Game type games where it's life and death, that you have to kill people, you have to stay alive, you have to solve these puzzles to get more time on your visa.
Yeah.
I have to agree with you. The first couple episodes, I kind of was like, man, the realism of Squid Game was making me rate it higher. However, I think where you turned off, I liked the aspect that they did off a lot of the main characters immediately because it did kind of leave you hanging like vulnerable of who's gonna make it, which I love in TV series. I love not knowing like, oh, the main character's safe. Rick and Shane, Shane's gonna be okay. When I
agree with
like
that.
the idea when they do that because I mean Game of Thrones was a master of it where you draw to like a character and next thing you know they're dead. I appreciated when Alice in Borderlands did it. And from there, I do think it takes a huge turn and does introduce some more characters that I appreciated, were a little more colorful, a little more animated, and it's based off manga that I thought made it a little more interesting. They came up with some really creative characters that kind of hooked me, and from then on it was really good. But I agree with you. I think initially I kept telling people that recommended it to me I like Squid Game better.
Yeah.
But by the time I was done with season 1, I rate Alice in Borderlands better than Squid Game.
Well, so here's my problem. I'm fine with killing off main characters if it really serves the story well and it launches it into a new phase. My problem was it seems like they didn't give me enough character building for those main characters for me to truly invest in them. So when they died, I wasn't like heartbroken. I was kind of like, oh, so you introduce these characters and now you're giving me a shock and awe factor. Now what are you going to do? And to me, the second you do that, you have to come out strong the next episode. I guess to me, they didn't do that enough.
No, you're right.
And so they didn't do it. It wasn't strong enough that it lost my attention. I was already kind of struggling because I think I was comparing it too much to Squid Game.
Yes.
But it didn't keep me engaged enough that when that happened, I was like, all right. And then I told myself, all right, I'm going to give them one more episode because I'm going to be fair and I need to see how are they going to bounce back from this. And they didn't bounce back enough, strong enough, in my opinion. And I was like, you know what? No, it's all good. I'll just wait for Squid Game season 2.
I can't disagree with you. And the only counterpoint I would have to that is that you're right. They didn't. The deaths aren't necessarily. I didn't picture it as trying to get you hooked or really more in the loss of them. The deaths are more used to build the character of the main character. So it does come to play later in the series that when the main character starts making the decisions that he makes, it reverts back to that and why he's making the decisions now.
Can I counterpoint
versus what he would have done then?
Can I counterpoint that?
100%.
I 100% get that. I understand that thought process. But if you're going to do that, you can't do it that early.
Yes.
You have to give the audience enough information and time with those characters that you're going to be using for the main character later to invest in them, to feel like you want to be their friend or feel like you wish you could do anything you could to help them before you kill them off. Because then the decisions that are made by the lead character later on are only impactful for that character, not the audience also.
Yeah, they tie it in kind of with flashbacks, but kind of off the topic there, the difference too, another thing that kind of reined me in is I did like the bigger range of the games versus Squid Game kind of being in a room. I like that this was, they were kind of trapped either in a building or there's one where they're like trapped in a city diameter area where they've got to run from one end of the city to another. I like the idea of the bigger scale of Alice in Borderlands, that you didn't quite know the limits. And on the same level of Squid Games, I did think the games that they were making these people play were really clever. And it kept me thinking every episode of like, man, what is the fix to this? Which is what I liked about Squid Games, because I love solving puzzles. And like every one of those Squid Game episodes, you're like, I want to solve this with them. I thought Alice in Borderlands did it, and I liked it because it was on a little bigger of a scale of trying to solve those puzzles. But I do understand your critiques, and I think they're valid. I agree. But I do think if you're fans of Squid Games, I mean, I will vote. I recommend that you watch the show, especially if you're fans of Squid Game. I think this is something that will fill that void while you're waiting for a season 2. Also, you won't be let down. The difference between this and Squid Game, Alice in Borderlands was greenlit for season 2 immediately, and they've already finished filming season 2, so you're going to get that much quicker. Squid Game, they haven't even started writing season 2 yet, so it's going to be a long wait waiting for that. So,
well, the writer of Squid Game wrote it like 10 years ago.
Yes, so I mean that's what I mean. You're going to have a long wait to, whereas if you want to fill that void, I would recommend watch Alice in Borderlands. You're going to get season 1 and season 2 is already done filming. It's going to come out pretty soon. I think it's worth a watch.
I say pass, personally, which, hot take for being the first episode of 2022. I'm a pass, he's a watch. But no, I would say pass, because I think, especially if you're coming off of just watching Squid Game, you're going to spend too much time comparing the two. I think Squid Game is more polished and it's a little bit more crisp, which is why I think I maybe struggled with Alice in Borderland, is it was too chaotic for me. It was too. It seemed a little too unorganized for me compared to what Squid Game was. So, because Squid Game was very definitive, it was very precise as to every move that was being made.
Yes.
So, yeah, I don't know. I think there's better things to watch personally.
I like it. So if you choose to watch it still after this, leave comments below. Let us know what you think. If you skipped or you have watched it and you didn't like it and you agree with Patrick, we want to hear from you. We want to see what you guys think.
But if you have watched it and you disagree with me, come at me. I would
come at me, bro.
Come at me, bro. Like, no, but I would love to hear your opinions. I would love to hear your thoughts, and maybe you can sway me into watching the rest of this season.
I think you should watch the rest of the season.
Well, but I'd like to hear from them.
Yes. Do you want to hear Attack the Web?
I do want to hear Attack the Web. Let's do it, baby. All right, and here we go with Attack the Web. So, we have a little short fan film, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
That was created by, I know I've talked about them before, but Corridor Digital. They are a visual effects art house, pretty much, and they have a YouTube channel. Corridor Digital, or Corridor Crew, is what they're also known as on their YouTube channel. The link for this video will be down in the description for you to watch the whole thing. But it is a film that the concept that they started with was, how can we improve on the lightsaber, right? Because the lightsaber that you've seen in Star Wars, it's always just the same thing. It's always, and it's cool, but it's always the same thing. Well, they wanted to take it and say, how can we make this more realistic? What would it actually look like if there was a laser, so to speak, that was coming
Fire
out.
beam. Yeah.
Yeah, and so they wanted to see what they could do with that. And with that, they created a fan film.
Also, there's a making of, which is like 20 minutes, which
It's
I thought was
so good.
interesting because that's 20 minutes. The film's like 6 minutes.
Yeah.
But their main goal was also to make it more of a realistic fight.
We want to actually go out there and make what we think a lightsaber fight should actually look like.
Like they actually got a fight choreographer and like a sword fighting choreographer to make it more realistic. So the finished product, it's called To the Death. Currently on YouTube. The link is below if you want to check it out. But Patrick, you recommended the movie. You liked this.
I loved it because I watched the making of it first, and actually in the making of the video, they play the whole video at the end. But I liked it because it kind of brought some realism to the Star Wars world, in the sense of they almost made it seem like you were right there with them. They also filmed it with this brand new camera and rig that is sexy.
I'm pricing it out right now, by the way. It's a camera and rig all in one.
It's a lot.
And like it measures the ground, so when you're walking, it knows to keep the camera low. This thing is sweet.
What I liked about this is it starts with this girl walking in, and she sees this janitor that's like, he's sweeping or mopping or whatever, and she asks what's going on.
I thought she was a janitor.
No. Either way.
Oh.
But ultimately she's asked what's going on, and you see these two like Jedi apprentices, would you call them?
Yeah.
That are fighting to the death with these lightsabers because they're learning their skills. It's almost like you're seeing the behind the scenes of, well, how did these Jedi masters, how did they get so skilled? How did they get so good? And this kind of brings you to that. And so I think that's what I really liked about it, is it kind of shows the behind the scenes of these guys. When you see them in the Star Wars movies, they're all like, oh, doing quick, cool, awesome, skilled moves. But it's like, well, how did you learn that? Well, this kind of gives a glimpse of that.
Yeah, they, too much of a spoiler, like, if they cut off an arm, they have the technology to reanimate the arm. The movie didn't rate so high on my level. Just the idea of, they wanted to go a realistic approach. I respect of what the filmmakers were trying to do with this. However, I found it boring. And the only reason I find it boring is that, like, we all know watching a lightsaber fight, it's not real. It looks boring if you make fighting real. If we both hold a lightsaber and we hit, and I just decide to slide it down and cut your hand off, it's boring. I feel like the thought process in making this movie is that they wanted you to keep your distance and make it so you couldn't do that, but make it more realistic instead of like a big swing, a big swooping, whatever. But like, that's theater. That's what makes lightsabers cool. Nobody wants to see like a normal punch in a movie where you like hit somebody and they're just like, ow. They want to see you get knocked out. Like, because that's what theater and that's what film is. So for me, I get that they were trying to make it real, but the fight was really boring to me. It just seemed like yeah, that's what, when I play with my toy lightsaber with like my kid or my brother or whatever, and it's like, haha, you're dead. You're like, well, that was boring. Like, I want to see some swooping swings. And like,
you play with your toy lightsaber with your
yes,
brother?
I have like 7 toy lightsabers. Who doesn't?
You guys are like grown men, right? You have
so
kids and stuff?
Yeah, and I play with my kid. Like, that's
no, but your brother.
Yeah, we all play. We all have toy lightsabers. But
I'm just upset I wasn't invited.
But when you watch Star Wars, nobody's questioning the realism of it. And I think that's kind of where I got kind of lost in this of like, it was really boring fight. However, technically, the effects are great. The way the sparks, hit off the blades and bounce off the ground. Technically, this is a very visually sound film. And I give them credit on what they brought together. They totally accomplished their goal. Just, if you're going to give me a Star Wars movie with this style of fighting or the Lucas style, I'm taking Lucas all day long. Like, I want to see, I want to see the big swings and the big blurs. I want that. So it's kind of like one of those of like, you're giving me what I wasn't asking for. Like, cool.
I think they could have made it maybe a little more theatrical in the fight. I like that they kept it realistic because that's always cool to me. I like as realistic as you can get.
Keeping it real.
But I, keep it 100. But no, but I also appreciate the theatrical elements of filmmaking and understanding that it is fake. It is over dramatized and over exaggerated. I think maybe they could have married those two.
Yes,
a little
100%.
better.
Especially given the technology and the camera that they were using.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be a split. This is going to be a weird vote for me. I'm going to say pass. Don't watch to the death, but watch the making of to the death. Does that count? Like, can I say that?
Yeah, you can actually.
Like, watch the 20-minute making of.
Okay.
I think that's totally worth watching because the camera technology and what they use and the programming that they use is amazing.
That glow. In addition, I can also add something called lens reflection. Boom. So this mimics how light passes through the different glass of the lens and reflects within there and then gets filmed.
I'm a watch, but
Are you watching the short or the making?
well, I think I appreciated
I
it.
swayed him.
Oh, I think I appreciated it more after having watched the making of it first.
Yeah, so you're probably more of a watch the making of.
I guess if that's an option that we're doing, yeah, I would do that.
We can make whatever credits we want.
That is true because it is our show.
And this graphic's gonna say watch the making of.
Yes, and you're an editing wizard. So yeah.
There you go. I love it. So
if you like techie stuff with Star Wars, is that a fair thing to say?
I don't even know if it's tacky.
like
It's just
some-
too realistic. So
Not
tacky.
not tacky, techie.
Oh, tacky.
Like technical
the
stuff.
making of.
Like extra nerdy stuff with Star Wars. Watch it.
Sure.
All right,
The making of.
if you want.
We're already wrapping up the first episode of 2022.
That's weird.
It's like a drinking game. Every time we say 2022, drink. Are we gonna do our first I Miss My
2022.
MTV? Oh, song.
Bow, 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 bow. Sorry.
I think I might pick a different song
It was
than
a
you had.
TikTok
in
back
mind.
in 2021. Back in my day.
Way back.
Yeah.
All right, our first I Miss My MTV of 2022.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
Yeah, you're already falling behind.
Yep.
We're taking a look at Nick Murphy's
Nick Murphy.
single.
Nick Murphy. The
Yes.
Nick Murphy.
The Nick Murphy. It's a new artist. You guys are going to thank us for bringing this to you because I think you're going to really like this song. It's very catchy, kind of dancey.
Hold me.
No, that's Teskey
Don't
Brothers.
hold me down.
I think we're going to name it the Teskey. This isn't the Teskey Brothers segment. All right, let's kick things off.
Another edition of This Isn't the Teskey Brothers.
We're going to take a look at Nick Murphy's Sanity. We hope you enjoy. Check it out.
Damned if I don't know. All these people I've avoided, that could have been you this somewhere. All these faces I perform with, to tell you the truth, I always should. Wondered if you would hide from me too now. The places I've been, oh shit. My sanity comes to question, but I need to burn up. Oh my God, attention. It's like.
What'd you think?
I enjoyed it.
It's a good song.
Yeah.
It's Taylor approved.
It is Taylor
have to like
approved.
it.
Yeah, she yells and it's like, oh, it's a good song. You
Yes.
got the playlist going. So
Good video, under 1 million views, so that's where we aim to bring our I Miss My MTV to you. So make sure you check out the full video. The link is below. But before you do that, before you start clicking around, because we know you guys like to click and, switch
got that
videos
clicker
and stuff.
finger.
Yes.
Get it? Because like trigger finger for like,
Careful,
video
Alec
games
Baldwin.
and stuff. Oh.
They need to click like,
Subscribe, share.
the little bell.
Yeah, the
Ding.
notification button. Comment, let us know what you think.
Yeah, especially if you check out the music video or any of the shows. We want to hear from you. Or if you go and check out Nick Murphy's song, leave a comment there saying, hey, Attack on Show brought us here. You should talk to them.
Yep.
Because they're really cool dudes.
Yeah.
Do people say dudes anymore?
I don't
okay?
know, but you know what? We're just guys being dudes.
Love it.
We're just chilling.
Thank you for watching, and make sure you stay tuned for the rest of Season 8.
Yes.
We're bringing you a ton of fun content this year. We've got our New Year's resolution goals way high. So
Yes, we do. And we cannot wait to talk through some of those with you next time.
as always, I'm Rob E.
I'm Patrick Harney.
And this is
Attack on Show.